coming up on the News at 5.
What we realized was that across the state, the needs were very similar.
The Montana Community Foundation announced new support for families of missing and murdered Indigenous people. Plus, in his first bill signing ceremony since taking office, Governor Greg Gianforte signed the COVID Liability Protections Bill into law. What that means for the statewide mask mandate.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, our top story at 5, a new grant fund will provide immediate support to Montana Native American families who are missing a loved one. MTN's John Riley reports.
Although Native Americans make up around 6% of Montana's population, they account for a quarter of the state's missing persons. Activists say one of the problems is Native families aren't taken as seriously when reporting a loved one missing.
And to be honest, in a few of the families we've worked with where they're like, we're trying to file a missing persons report, and they're like, well, she's probably out, partying, come back in a day or two if they still haven't returned.
Because of that, McDonald says Native families can often be the only ones actively searching for that missing person. The newly established Snowbird Fund by Montana businesswoman Whitney Williams and the Montana Community Foundation hopes to fill a need they say is not currently being met by government agencies. The fund will provide $500 immediately to families who have recently had a loved one go missing, which can be used for gas money, purchasing a drone for aerial searching, and more. Williams was inspired to create the fund while running for governor after hearing numerous stories of families conducting their own searches when government agencies wouldn't.
And what we realized was that across the state, the needs were very similar. People just needed a little bit of support financially because here we have communities, many of whom are already in poverty or extreme poverty, having to foot the bill for these searches.
Williams recognizes that the Snowbird Fund isn't going to solve Montana's murdered and missing Indigenous people's problem, but hopes that the fund will raise awareness about the needs of those families and help Montanans see that it's a community issue that affects everyone.
Members of the legislature, both under Governor Bullock and now under Gianforte, are working hard to do things like making sure we continue to have a task force that's focused on this. And those are steps absolutely in the right direction, and so much more needs to be done. What we think this fund will do is just alleviate some of the immediate needs that these family members have.
Families can apply for grants right now, and we have more information about the fund on our website, ktvh.com. All right, we've got Andy Curtis filling in again with weather, which means that it's probably cold and windy.
Hey, how'd you guess that? I got a sneaking suspicion that Curtis might be just holding off until it starts to warm up, which will be next week. But we'll see. He's supposed to be back tomorrow, everybody who's about to turn the channel. Please bear with us. One more day of me doing this, and at least one more day of some bad news. Wind chill temperatures across the state right now are bone chilling. 30 below in Havre, 37 up in Cup Bank, Great Falls 28 below zero, 25 below zero in the capital city. Remember, that's the wind chill, so if you're looking at your thermometer out the window, it's not going to be the same reading. Not too much of a temperature change. It's been cold pretty consistently all week. I think Sunday was the first day we dipped below zero, at least in the capital city area. Haven't gone back up since. So 0, 0, and 0. It's been the same temperature this time yesterday as it is right now. And some snow flurries. Those are going to continue today and into tomorrow and even into Friday just a little bit. So if what you're seeing outside right now should be what we look forward to over the next couple of days. And we're still going to be sub-zero. Tomorrow being one of the colder days this week. Those flurries sticking around, but we will get back above zero. At least I sure hope so. Coming up a little bit next week. I'll tell you about that in the full forecast.
All right, thanks, Andy. Law enforcement officials are still searching for 2 anglers who went missing in Toole County, but the cold weather is not making that easy. The 2 men were camped on the north side of the Marias River. They were reported missing Monday after they failed to return from visiting another campsite. Tracks from their UTV led to open water, and items from their UTV were found floating in the water. The men have not been found. The Toole County Undersheriff says the temperature needs to get above zero before recovery efforts can safely resume.
If somebody gets exposed to the water, their temperature being above zero gives them, I guess, a less likely chance of somebody getting hurt. Trying to get a conference call between us, Flathead County with their tube area rescue that's been helping us, and Cascade County, and develop a plan.
The sheriff's office reminds people to use extreme caution on the ice because there are parts of the river where the ice is unstable. Today, Governor Greg Gianforte announced he will lift Montana's statewide mask mandate on Friday. He made the announcement after signing Senate Bill 65, a measure limiting when businesses, healthcare providers, and other organizations can be sued over COVID-19 related damages. Gianforte previously said the bill was a necessary first step before he would rescind the mask mandate. He plans to issue a new directive Friday morning to make the change. Gianforte said local jurisdictions will be able to continue their own mask mandates.
As I've said, we will continue to provide incentives to protect the health and safety of Montanans, and we will emphasize personal responsibility over mandates.
Gianforte said he waited to lift the mandate until more vulnerable Montanans had gotten COVID-19 vaccines. He also pointed to the continued drop in active cases across the state. The Department of Public Health and Human Services also said today they will receive more than 16,000 first doses of the vaccine next week and more than 13,000 second doses. Taking a look at the state's COVID-19 situation, Montana reached a few COVID-19 milestones today. Active cases in the state continue to fall and have dipped below 3,000. The last time active cases in the state were below 3,000 was in September 26th to be exact. Montana also has administered over 1 million COVID-19 tests to date. Just over 250 additional COVID-19 cases were reported in the state today. 108 people are currently hospitalized with the virus. 5 additional deaths have been reported today, all of them in Cascade County, which brings the statewide death total to 1,336. MTN uses a combination of state and local data to report COVID-19 cases and deaths here in Montana. Well, Bailey Rickard was a Great Falls nurse when the pandemic hit. Then, seeing the greater need around the country, she became a traveling nurse. When COVID-19 hit in March, she received emails from hospitals overrun with patients and looking for nurses. Since then, Bailey has been on the front lines as a COVID ICU nurse in Chicago, Billings, and now Arizona.
I think I had one patient live out of Chicago. I mean, at one point we ran out of linens, but we were just using body bags as sheets anyways, because they were going to die anyways. We were, loading them into the cooling trucks out in the parking lot, like all that stuff. Like, it was happening. It was real. It wasn't just the media blowing it up. Like, we were actually doing these things.
Bailey has been on the road as a COVID-19 nurse for 11 months. In 3 weeks, she will be back working at the Great Falls Clinic. She says it is time to take a break from COVID-19 and will be working as a nurse in the cardiologist ward. And a local candy shop is getting ready for one of their busiest days of the year, Valentine's Day. And if you did not remember, Valentine's Day is this Sunday. Candy Masterpiece in downtown Great Falls specializes in chocolates, truffles, and more than 200 different flavors of fudge. Candy Masterpiece has been serving the Electric City for 21 years. The shop owner says they have been rushing to get candy ready for Valentine's Day after the holiday season cleaned out most of the store.
We really had to be frantic because we ran out of all chocolates at the end of Christmas, and so we have been double timing, trying to make up enough to sell as we were going along and then have enough for Valentine's. I think we've accomplished it. I think people will be very happy.
Candy Masterpiece has special Valentine's Day themed truffles and said their most popular Valentine's candy is chocolate-covered cherries. And when we come back, Andy Curtis will have a complete check of your forecast and Storm Tracker weather. And later, some people are still waiting for the support that was supposed to come with the stimulus bill that passed back in December. More on what's being done up next.
Welcome back, everybody. Andy Curtis, the other Curtis, filling in for Curtis Grevenance tonight. And another day with me and another day with below zero temperatures. Here's our traditional, our staple of the show, the look at Mac Pass right now. Very cold once again up there, and here's your nightly reminder to give yourself plenty of time if you're driving up over Mac Pass or any of the passes across the state, or, and for that matter, just driving anywhere. That's a pretty good distance because problems can turn to very deadly and dangerous problems very fast in these temperatures. Taking a look at the capital city, we can actually see it tonight, which is good. Camera got defrosted, I guess. 6 below is what the temperature on the thermometer reads, but with that wind chill factored in, not too much. 13 miles per hour, I guess it feels a lot like that. Feels a lot more than that once you're out there in the cold, but with that wind chill factored in, 25 below is what it feels like with the wind chill right now. Up in Great Falls, a little bit colder, 14 degrees below zero. Less wind, which is a surprise, but it feels colder, 30 below around the Electric City. Taking a look across Montana, now these are the temperatures, not the wind chill, and we're 12 below in Havre, Cut Bank 17 below, Kalispell 9 above zero. And in Missoula, another day, double digits in the right direction. Looking pretty good out there in Missoula. They were in the 20s yesterday as well. So a heat wave, if you want to warm up, head out to the west, because on that side of the divide, it looks like temperatures are on the right side of zero, which is nice. And we'll all get there at some point, I hope. It looks like at least after this weekend, we'll be up there with Missoula in the 20s and maybe even a little bit warmer. So taking a look right now, we got a couple of snow flurries going on across the state, especially around the capital city area, Helena, up in the Great Falls even a little bit, out towards the west. Taking a closer look, these will be coming and going, lasting throughout the rest of the evening here, in some spots at least. So very similar to yesterday and the day before when those flurries were pretty consistent. They'd stop, they'd start, and then they'd last for a little bit longer. And that should be the case for the next couple of days. Flurries on and off tomorrow again, and then stopping on Friday. Speaking of which, taking a look at the future tracker, and here's what I was talking about. Kind of tapering off tonight, starting off in some spots tomorrow as we get into Thursday afternoon. A little bit more widespread, at least down to the southwest. Dillon and Butte, Bozeman getting some snowflakes. And we'll start to see it creeping up as we head into Friday. Might even creep into Helena a little bit on the southern side of the city, southern side of the city. Say that 3 times fast. Heading into Boulder and Jefferson, see a little bit more snowflakes than the rest of us. But up in the mountains, of course, can see a good accumulation of snow over the next couple of days. But down in the lower elevations, maybe an inch. It's just a light dusting, a snow flurry. Again, like what we've been seeing, that trend will continue. So Great Falls 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, it might be the coldest day, at least around Great Falls, that we've seen this week. 15 below for the high, and that wind chill will get around 40 degrees below zero, 6 to 8 mile per hour wind coming out of the northwest. Friday starts the warming trend. Yeah, I guess we could call it a warming trend. Technically, it's a warming trend. 9 degrees below zero. Saturday, 1 degree below zero. And there we go. We make the jump onto the positive side. Sunday, 7, and then 26, 30, and 29 as we head into the work week in Helena. Very similar trend. It starts to warm up on Saturday, and by Monday, we could be pushing freezing.
Lawmakers continue to debate the next stimulus package, but while that happens, some people are still waiting for the promised help back in December under the last stimulus package. Alicia Nieves reports.
Back in December, Congress promised a $300 enhancement in benefits for those on unemployment and 11 more weeks of unemployment benefits for the millions who lapsed out of the system.
I haven't been paid in over 7 weeks.
But many people like Kara Gray from Ohio are fighting to receive those new unemployment benefits promised.
And I feel like they almost try and make it seem like we're lazy or we're trying to take advantage of some awesome situation. Like this is an amazing position to be in.
Before the pandemic, she and her husband had a newly thriving family construction and renovation business. But when construction was halted for social distancing needs, they were out of work and had to stay home to protect their immunocompromised daughter.
And we have $18,000 saved up to buy a house and just add to our savings, and I had to go through all of that money.
That savings ran out completely about 4 weeks ago. They would have been just barely getting by, but okay, if there wasn't this new round of unemployment benefit delays.
Now I'm behind on credit cards. That's not only hurting us financially, but Now, if I want to get a business loan or we were going to buy a house, my credit is going down.
According to research by the Century Foundation, almost every state had a 2-week delay on implementing the new unemployment benefits passed in December. But roughly 24 states had delays of 3 weeks or more, and 12 are still struggling to get the December unemployment benefits out to those in need.
States are having real trouble with their technology.
Andrew Stetner is with the Century Foundation and explains there are 2 main reasons for the delay. One, fraud by mostly foreign scammers has caused states to add new verification methods for benefits. And 2, Congress passed the last package after the prior one lapsed. So the new unemployment rules, when passed, had to be inputted into old, antiquated systems. And only then could those systems slowly start processing and paying out. States with the oldest systems are taking the longest. The biggest question now is, will Congress also wait until the very last minute or later to pass the next stimulus measure?
The resolution is adopted.
I think this time Congress is keenly aware of this problem. Certainly the leadership on up to the president want to avoid these kind of lapses again.
Unemployment benefits start to expire again on March 14th, so a new stimulus package has to be passed before then to avoid a lapse and even more people experiencing what Kara Gray and her family have. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
And coming up next on the News at 5, with the first girls wrestling state tournament just around the corner, we check in with the only girl on the team in Great Falls.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back to the News at 5. According to MHSA numbers, a total of 169 girls statewide participated in the first year of girls wrestling. And in Great Falls, there's just one. But as MTN's Tom Wiley tells us, she happens to be very good.
The first thing you notice about Great Falls High freshman Kaylin Taylor are the socks.
I've been wearing rainbow socks at a lot of my tournaments for at least 7th grade, but I have a lot of other crazy socks that I like to wear.
Well, she's not kidding. In middle school tournaments, Taylor would frequently rock pink hair and a Wonder Woman singlet, and her opponents would take notice.
Yeah, just like a little bit ago, she was telling me how she liked my socks.
But the only thing that matches Taylor's flair for style is her talent on the mat. Kaylin is ranked number 1 at 103 pounds in the most recent all-class girls wrestling poll and is undefeated so far against female competition.
There's like different tactics some boys and girls use, and I feel like a lot of the girls are a lot more flexible, so it's harder for that. This is my 9th year wrestling total, but it's a lot different in high school. I don't know. I get a lot more matches, I feel like, with girls, especially since it's sanctioned now. It's good to have like a bunch of girls matches.
Kaylin will be Great Falls High's only representative at the first ever girls state tournament next weekend in Lockwood, and her Bison pride is strong.
It feels good. I'm glad to be on that team, and the coaches are great. The teammates are really great. It feels good to be part of that team.
Our little one right now, she's tougher than nails. One of the best girls in the state, I think.
There are 36 four-time state champions in Montana high school history, and Kaylin has her eyes set on becoming the first girl to ever reach that milestone.
I hope I can get like first place. First state champion would feel really good, especially first state champions for my team. I really hope I can get that and continue on into college.
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
The first ever girls state wrestling tournament starts a week from Friday in Lockwood. And we'll wrap things up here on the News at 5 when we come back.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
All right, welcome back, everybody. An online Valentine's auction is happening right now, and it helps out area college students and a local childcare nonprofit. Great Falls College MSU's Physical Therapist Assistant Program organized the auction. It started Monday and ends tomorrow. 12 items are available, including spa, game night, fitness, and nutrition baskets. Part of the proceeds will be given to Toby's House in Great Falls, and part will be used to help fund the college's physical therapist program. Organizers hope to give at least $800 to Toby's House.
I'm really excited. Honestly, doing an event like this was something that we were just kind of crossing our fingers for. We didn't know what to expect because most classes haven't done anything like this. on an online platform. And so a lot of it was marketing, getting the word out there.
You can find a link to the auction on our website, ktvh.com. We'll be back here tonight at 6 with your latest local headlines, and Andy will have another look at the weather. And of course, you can stay with us all the time online, ktvh.com, and we'll see you back here tonight at 6.